And it's okay to like not have a problem to address every week in therapy.
The week before we were talking about that I was like, girl, I have actual anxiety about the fact that I don't have anything to talk to you about. But then she was like, you do understand that with therapy, the most work is going to be done on the days that you aren't using me to vent. That day, you know what we talked about? My fucking eating disorder for the first time in the 7 months I've been seeing her.
You know, we're in a culture where there's so much messaging around, if it's not serving you, then move on. But I think what we lose in that is the ability to problem solve and have conflict resolution, because we don't actually ever have to work through a hard thing with that type of mindset.
And I know when I'm over compromising.
Yeah.
I know when I am bending too much. In every relationship until my current one, I have always done that where I'm like, oh yeah, like he doesn't believe in therapy, but it's fine. We can still have kids.
Where do you draw the line of what isn't something that is going to be resolved? Where is it just incompatibility? That's where I think I struggle, because I think in relationships I've, exhausted every option.
Yeah, before
I call it. I remember thinking it's not fair for me to ask this of him if I've never actually witnessed him do it.
I feel like even taking it one step further, like there were so many traits of people I dated in the past that I wanted them to have, and I couldn't understand them not being able to get there because I have those traits.
Yes.
Like the emotional connection. I'm like, I can emotionally connect with a fucking wall.
I don't feel like I want to be in a relationship right now. So it feels kind of silly to be dating people if I'm not like ready to actually be in a relationship. I think I just want more time to not, I don't know, I think this is... This is some more shit coming up. I was about to say, I don't want to have to take care of someone right now.
There it is.
In a world where discomfort is actively avoided, therapy is not accessible to many, we have found that talking it out has been a form of free therapy in itself. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Kelly. And we dive into topics like death, divorce, disordered eating, debt, and every taboo topic in between.
With that,
who's ready to get taboo?
Damn.
Yeah, it's been so there's a bunch of stuff like I won't get into because it's not appropriate, but it's been
tea at the hospital.
Some shit has gone down this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Jesus.
It's been
drama. It's been a weird spring.
Yeah. And then we got an email. It's not gossip. And here I am
on the podcast, on the internet.
Gossiping. Which, to be fair, I didn't see the email, but everyone else says we got an email. So I don't know.
If you didn't see it, then it's not real.
Exactly.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah. I'm like, what
If I can't see it, then it isn't real.
Exactly.
Everyone else is conspiring against you.
Correct.
Obviously.
So T at work, sneezing 2 days in a row.
Your life
What's
is in
going
shambles. You know what's really weird is like with sneezing, with my nose ring, I can like push it against my nose here and make myself sneeze.
That's crazy.
I know. It's like a superpower.
It's like a button.
Yeah, like I can push it. And
wait.
Do you feel it? Like if you push it against the wall of your nose?
That was terrible. The other day, okay, this was 3 weeks ago.
So not the other day. Many days ago.
Many weeks. I was getting ready for work and I was like really quickly just throwing on some moisturizer. And I was already running late. There's just so many things that happened that morning that it just
those mornings.
So I'm like, I should be leaving by 6:20, 6:25.
Yeah.
It's 6:35.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like just quickly putting on some moisturizer. My nail caught in my nose ring.
No.
And like pulled it up so that the part where it clasped together then was pinching my nostril.
Oh my God.
It looked like it made its own second piercing.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't get it off. And I just my face was soaked from tears.
Oh my God.
Just instant. It was the craziest
pain.
So I'm like, I still don't have the moisturizer rubbed in. Now I have tears everywhere. So it's like wet and slippery all over my face.
That's what she
said. And
then
my nose is just like
dead.
I sat there and I like glitched. I'm like, what do I address first?
Yeah.
I tried to pull it down and I couldn't. So I'm like, okay, I need to like wipe my tears. So then I'm like frantically looking for a washcloth to like wipe my tears off. And then anyway, I think I got tweezers and I like had to shove my nostril up while also then pulling the nose ring down.
Awful.
Yeah, it was
awful.
Crazy. And then I got to work and I'm like, I don't even know how to I just felt like I had lived an entirely different like life from everyone. And it was like I just showed up to work and then I was like, everyone doesn't know how traumatized I just was.
Yeah. And it's like, if I'm put out that much, I can't work the rest of the day though. I can't be about, like, I'm like, I went through a trauma, send me home.
And it was like all swollen. Like my nostril was like thick. It was crazy.
Dude.
It was a crazy day.
I honestly don't know how people with like facial piercings, like a ton of them, handle it. Like, more power to you, sister. Yeah. This isn't even a commentary on how they look.
I'm honestly surprised that was the first time that happened.
I know, because you've had your nose pierced forever.
I got it, I think when I was 19.
19? Yeah. When did I? Mine was I had it.
I like impulsively just did it at the mall.
Oh, at the mall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
I know.
Fucking God. I had my nose pierced when I turned 18. I got it done and could not stop touching it, could not stop fidgeting with it. And I just don't think it was the piercing wasn't done very well.
Oh.
Awful. I got a keloid and it never went away no matter how much I cleaned it. I did clean it properly, but I mean, I was touching it. Yeah. Keloid formed. And then one day it got so infected, it hurt so bad that it started creeping into my cheek. And I was like, I'm taking this shit out. Fuck that. Yeah. Took it out. Within a couple hours, completely grown over. Like, my body literally rejected it and was like, you're done.
Yeah.
You're never again.
Yeah.
And then and so that was what, 2012, 13.
Yeah.
And then,
because I think like 2010, it was still kind of taboo to have a nose ring.
Very.
Like when I got it at, I think, what was it? It was 2014, 2015. It was whenever I went to Croatia.
Yeah.
Because I got it like a couple weeks before I went to Croatia. And then I spent the entire summer just like there in the salt water. And so it healed perfectly. I never had any issues with it at all.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So I always tell someone, I'm like, wait, like, because like I've talked to other people who want to get their nose pierced who have had the same experience, like had a keloid, had a really bad whatever. I'm like, just do it and then go on vacation and it'll heal perfect.
That's why they have you clean it with like salt water is incredible. Yeah. And like, then I waited until I was like 24 and I was like, I'm going to try one more time. Cause like most of the time my body does not like piercings. Yeah. Like ears are really hard for me. They take extra long. Like I have a few and it's like,
these cartilage ones, the cartilage ones. I just bumped my mic. Sorry everyone. But it took 2 years.
That's how Kathleen's were.
Yep. And so many times I'm like, I should just take them out. I'm like, no, I've gone this long. They will heal.
My time.
And they did. Yep. It just took 2 years and it was worth it.
I have like this one down, like in the lower part of my cartilage. It's like really hidden. Yeah. That one, I truly thought I was going to have to take it out. It was so painful. It was so uncomfortable. Finally, it's been a year this month. It's perfectly healed and I can take it out. Yeah. Or like swap out the jewelry, but like piercings are just not my thing. So when I got this one, I was like, because I'm sorry, I think for me, I can't stand the keloids. Like if I'm going to get a keloid, I'm taking out the piercing because I think
I've never got one.
I just think they don't go away. It takes so much effort to make them go away. And sometimes they just don't ever. This piercing, I literally have never had a problem with it. And it's been 6 years. Healed perfect. Never gotten a keloid ever in my life. Yeah. I've never switched it out. This is like what I got it pierced with, and it's been the best piercing ever. Yeah, and I'll never touch it.
I think I had it pierced. Oh, you got it pierced with the hoop? A lot of places won't do that.
No, I know. They said no, and I was like, seriously, I'll pay extra. Yeah. I don't want a fucking stud. Studs don't look good on my nose.
No, it's just that's not what I want.
Yeah, it's not what I want. It doesn't look good. And I was like, for the love of God, please. Yeah. And they're the only place I'll get pierced now, if I do get pierced. Yeah. I love the look of like it's
smart. I'll pay extra.
I'll pay extra if you just put the hoop in. I know the risks. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. Just let me do it. Yeah. And they did. And it seriously, like, this is the best piercing I've ever had. Yeah. Like, no issues.
How cool.
They're so nice. They're so affordable. Like, they're the best. It's on the, it's called Robot Piercing on 23rd. Okay. They're awesome. Like, they're so great. Oh my God, I love them.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, is there any other piercings I want? But my ears are pretty good. Like,
yeah, I think I want a couple more on my ears, but my ears are so small that like, they're going to look full. Like if I get a couple more piercings.
If you wanted the full look, it'd be easy to achieve.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of space for a lot of piercings. Yeah. Like I don't have big lobes. I don't have like a ton of cartilage.
I don't really have lobes.
Yeah, so I think, and like honestly, I'm good. Yeah. It's just like a lot. Piercings are hard. Yeah. They like to not be able to sleep on my side pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, even sometimes like if one of them gets irritated, to not be able to like sleep in that is awful. It's just so. I won't do anything that's going to sacrifice my sleep anymore. I've worked too hard for this.
Totally. I know my like, now that I'm like getting like leveled out, my sleep is getting a little better. And it's like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing out on. Bully, don't lick, please. Thank you.
Don't do it, honey. I've been for several months now waking up at 3 a.m.
Awesome.
Which I finally went to this new acupuncture gal that someone that I work with recommended to me. Anyway, I love her. She's over by like Franklin High School.
Nice.
But I was talking to her about it and she was like, liver. That's like the liver time basically when it's like really active in the night and processing and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're
working on that.
We're working on liver support and like
love that.
Kind of decongesting that pathway. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then my thyroid doctor gave me like a new sleep supplement that hopefully will help.
Yeah.
Because I can't take it anymore.
I've
been able to fall back asleep quickly after, but it's just so annoying, like clockwork.
Every morning. That's why I'm at that 6 a.m.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. So it's like 3 a.m. and then 6:20.
Yep.
So I'm like,
it's just so annoying. It's like I'm finally able to sleep in. Like I don't have to leave here until 8:45 and I'm waking up at 6. Sometimes it's 5 and I'm like, I cannot just lay. If I wake up and I just like lay and try to go to sleep, it'll never happen. Like I have to like put on white noise or something and it's been a little better, but like I'm falling asleep. It's just the 6 a.m.
6 a.m. is
not for me.
Uncalled for.
Couldn't be me.
Well, it's frustrating too. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. Like my natural wake time is 6:20. So if I go to bed at midnight, it still is going to be 6:20. Even if I go to bed at 8:30, it's going to be 6:20.
Yep. Same.
So if I want to actually get 9 hours, I have to go to bed on time.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, that's so true.
I just don't want to. Especially like when I get off of a work stretch or it's like I am only working like that one day or whatever. Like I get home and I'm like, I can stay up late. And it's like, no, girl, you can't.
No, girl, you can't.
Because you're going to feel like shit tomorrow.
I know.
But last night was really nice. Like I stopped on my way home and I was really craving like an Italian soda. And so I got one of those like strawberry Olipop. It's like the strawberry cream one. Yeah, and then I got some coconut cream and then just made like a little cute Italian soda of that. And then I got myself some popcorn. Fun. And then I just took a shower and I got in bed and I watched Mormon Wives.
Fuck yeah.
It was just so good.
So good. And
then it was funny because I only had like 20 minutes left of this one episode and I was just like, no, I'm done now. And so I just turned it off.
Oh.
I felt kind of like, I was like, is this what it is to be an adult?
Oh, maybe. It couldn't be me.
I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good now. So I just shut it.
And went to bed?
And went to bed. And I got up out of bed and brushed my teeth.
Ooh, hell yeah, bitch. Yeah. Oh my God.
So I think we're growing up.
I'm trying. It's like it comes in waves.
I've made it now. Like I have no other work to do on myself.
Correct. Yeah. You are healed. You are good. And you never need to change.
Thank you. I'm glad that you recognize it. So if everyone else can just take notes, that's all you need to do. Shut the show off when you're done.
This is the epitome of a human, fully healed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm in my embodiment of my highest self.
You cannot grow anymore.
No.
Nope. You reached peak growth. You are at your peak. It will never ever need to change.
And I'll stay here. I'll never get worse.
So attractive.
Funny. I was talking in therapy how like the last couple of weeks, like things have actually just been like going well. So I've just been kind of like sharing that. Mm-hmm. And I feel, I don't know, I have feelings about even talking about when things are just going well. So I'm like, I should probably
it's really hard to do it because I'm going to curse myself. That's how I feel. Yeah.
But I was like, but you know what's funny is every time I get to a place like this, I'm like, I'm never going to feel low again. Like, I am good. I have fixed all my problems. Nothing can bring me down.
It's my life. And then the world is like, honey bear.
I'm gutted. So
yeah, that's something that I'm like really working on though, is like, I'm allowed to speak to things being good when they're good.
Yeah.
Like, do not let the anxiety run your life so much that it's like, I can't speak to when things are okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's okay to like not have a problem to address every week in therapy.
Didn't I tell you? Maybe I didn't tell you this. My therapist, we had to cancel last week, but the week before we were talking about that I was like, girl, I have actual anxiety about the fact that I don't have anything to talk to you about. Like I don't know.
Shit.
Like I'm just okay.
And that's causing you distress.
Correct. And she called me out on that naturally. But then she was like, you do understand that with therapy, especially with you, she was like, the most work is going to be done on the days that you aren't using me to vent. And I was like, yo, you're right. Oh, so then that's day, crazy. I know she's fucking right though.
That's a call out.
That day, you know what we talked about? My fucking eating disorder for the first time in the 7 months I've been seeing her. We finally started to unpack my eating disorder. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because do you have any unlocks with it that you want to share? You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just curious.
No, you're good. Let me think. It was 2 weeks ago. Oh, yeah. We started talking about, like I'm in a really like weird place with food right now, but we really just started talking about, like, she asked me, she was like, when, like, I want you to think back to like your early, because I was like, I didn't really grow up with like my mom, like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to call out anything, but like, I didn't grow up with like someone around me that like had a visible eating disorder that I was aware of. I was a pretty like, I was like a kid. I was being a kid. But then she asked me, she was like, all right, let me ask you this. When did you first start noticing people making comments about your body? And I was like, I was like, little girl.
Yeah.
Little, 5, 6. And she was like, it creeps up on you and you don't even recognize, like, you become body focused at such a young age as a woman that even if you weren't actively seeing someone struggle with an eating disorder, you were being forced to be aware of your body at an age that you shouldn't even have that thought.
Yeah.
And that was a huge unlock. And like, you know, it was hard because then I started realizing like, yeah, there's like people on my like biological dad's side of the family that like sexualized me at a time that I wasn't even going through puberty. Like, and people, and like, you know, then my body dysmorphia, like it is that laid the groundwork for so much of my body image issues around like having a big butt and having hips and being a curvy girl. Like I've always been aware of that. And then she was like, yeah, like before I made that unlock, and we started talking about like when I became aware of my body, she was like, how would you describe yourself? Like your shape, like your figure. How would you describe your figure? And I was like, yeah, like I'm curvy and like whatever. And she was like, yeah, that's not up to me to decide. And she was like, but when did you start to realize you were curvy? And then it led into like all of like, like why were uncles, cousins, people who didn't know me commenting on me having a curvy figure when I was 7 years old. Right. And so like, that's like really like, there's a lot to unpack there where I'm just like, oof, oh my God. Like, yeah, fuck all of you.
Well, and it's interesting to hear someone's self-perception because like if I'm describing you, that's not something I would ever describe you as.
Yeah.
But it's like when it's pointed out to you or someone else decides that they see that in you and it's like during that formative time, you take it on.
Yeah, completely.
Because it's like if someone asked me to describe your body type, I would never be like, oh, she's curvy or she has a big, like, I would never use those words. I would never describe you in that way. Well, so it is interesting.
And it's good. And like for the like better and worse, like I have an idea, like I think we all do, like of like, how our body looks and like the shape of our body. But then my mom said something and it was a compliment. Like I've never, what did she say that I was like, what, me? Oh, she was like, we were talking about my tattoos. And she was like, do you have any regrets about your tattoos? And I was like, girl, I could talk about this for hours.
See our episode.
Yeah, see the episode. Tattoos. Don't get tattooed. But she was like, and it wasn't insulting. She was just like, yeah, for me, like with your leg tattoos, what makes me kind of sad is that she was like, you have really shapely good legs and you can't see them because of the definition of your legs because of your tattoos. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So kind of her. Yeah. But it's like, those are things that my body in my head is one thing and one thing only. And it's because like, I was just made aware so young. And then my mom was talking about how like one girl, when she was 5 or 6 at school, labeled her as chubby. And she never forgot it.
Yeah, I remember crying to my mom when I was in kindergarten because I thought that I was fat.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was so much taller than everybody.
Yeah, same.
Like I was taller than the tallest boy in our class. Like I was always the tallest kid.
Yeah.
And I was always and Polly and I are only a year apart and I was always so much taller than her.
Yeah.
Like I just grew so steadily and so early. And I had such a complex about it. Like I was a lean athletic kid and I thought that I was quote unquote, and I don't even think I thought that I was fat. It was just the only vocabulary I had at that time. Yeah. And I remember being young. Like we've talked about it. I have a very vivid memory into like my very early years. Like I have a memory of getting my diaper changed. Yeah. And like, I've asked my parents, like, you know, how old was I when I was potty trained? And so it's like, I had to have been like 2. Yeah. You know, it's crazy. And it's weird that I have those memories and it's not things that have been told to me. It's like, you know, I can see it in my mind. But anyway, I remember those years being like frustrated because I was like trying to explain myself, but I didn't have the right words to be able to use. And I knew that. I'm like, I know this isn't the right word, but it's all I have to work with. Yeah. In my little, toddler childhood brain. But yeah, that was one of them, like being 5.
Yeah.
And, like saying that I'm fat. And then I remember too, like my dad had come to pick me up like the next day or something. And I remember overhearing my mom like telling him like that I had that conversation with her the night before. So she was like telling it. And I was like embarrassed that she was like, kind of, I don't know, like not that I felt like it didn't feel like betrayal or anything like that, but I was just like,
why are you outing me?
Yeah, when like your parents talk about things that you did and it's just like it brings up all the feelings again.
Yeah. All the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's just,
But at 5 to have that kind of messaging.
Yeah, I know. Like, God, I'm barely a person.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy.
But I think it's like not even like that someone's telling us. It's like we're watching all the adults and how they talk about themselves, how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
And like we see it in TV and movies. Like it's all this subliminal messaging that we internalize.
Totally.
It's not even just so overt.
Yeah, no. And it's exactly. I mean, you see people like media or like Hollywood movies, pop culture is so like ingrained in all of us. And it's like natural that it's like, well, they look like that. Why don't I look like that?
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I wasn't that kid. I wasn't, or like the kid that like, I truly wasn't. I remember being uncomfortable with relatives on my dad's side of the family commenting on my body. Like that made me very uncomfortable and upset. But I was never that girl that like, even in my teen years where I was like, I wish I looked like that celebrity. Why don't I look like that celebrity? Like that.
I don't know, for whatever reason, like I understood that there was a difference between what I'm seeing. Like I just knew that wasn't, I don't know, not that I didn't think that it was real, but it's just like not something I aspired to
same.
achieve. Never. Or I don't know. I just felt like that's not reality.
No.
I had that understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. I can't really, but I had a friend who was really like, I remember going to her house and I knew that she had kind of like struggled with eating disorder stuff. We were in 6th grade, or I think she was a year older than me. But I remember we were like looking through magazines and she was like very like, I just didn't realize that girls looked at magazines like the way she was. Like she was like, look at her skin, or look at her nose or her lip. Like she was like, so like in admiration, but also you could feel like how sad she was that she wanted that and couldn't have it. Like that's how it translated to me. And I'm like, oh, like you actually look at them like that. Like, and not that I said that to her, but it was just like, I just hadn't experienced or thought that anyone did.
Yeah. I think it's so, I was just talking about this too. Like my like sister has said that a lot of her like struggles with like food and body image have come from social media. And I think that's really normal. I'm not that way.
Yeah.
I don't get on.
It's the people around me.
That's exactly how I am.
That's what triggers me.
That's exactly how I'm, or like when I get envious, like, why don't I look like that? Because I have to see it in real life.
Yeah.
That's how I am across the board with everything in existence in my world is like, if I can see it in person, that makes it real to me.
You know what I will say is triggering though, is because like I'm triggered more, or like I compare myself to people that are actually in real life.
Yeah.
And then, but what then is hard for me is like, I have this idea of what I think I look like based on like what I see in the mirror, or like compared to the people around me.
Yeah.
When it does trigger me, it's like when I feel like I look a certain way and then I take a picture.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like what I think it should look like.
100% same.
And so, I think that's where maybe social media does affect me, because I'm like, well, I see these other people who I think I look like them, or I'm similar to them, and they look like this in a photo and I don't look like this in a photo.
I see.
That makes almost sense. Like there's this disconnect of my self-perception.
Yes, totally. Or like,
because I'm like, that's not what I look like though. Yeah. But the picture to me, like I'm more bothered by the picture not looking like me.
No, I am that way too. And
especially like a group photo is so triggering to me.
I have stopped completely taking pictures.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I am kind of concerned about it. Like it just shows that I have a lot of healing to do. I was always that girl that was down to take pictures, loved taking pictures.
Yeah.
Could not.
I don't know the last time we have a picture together.
Because I won't do it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate having my picture taken. I don't know how to smile anymore.
Yeah.
I'm awkward. I don't know. Again, this is why I will never say I'm healed. But I have realized I do not take pictures. I do not do it. I try to avoid it like the fucking plague.
Yeah.
I just hate it. I hate the way I look.
Yeah. What is it like? Is there, so you don't like the way you look? Is there like specific things? My therapist made me do this. So I'm curious, like your take on it. I can share mine.
My body for sure. Just like my hips, my like midsection. It just is so hard for me. My skin is really tough for me.
What about it?
It's just really dull and like textured. And then, yeah, like I don't know. Yeah,
Sorry,
my smile.
I guess I don't mean to like say this to like make you call out all your flaws, but I'm just curious. Like, I think it's interesting to hear what bothers people about themselves and like what they see.
Yeah. Yeah, because nobody else does.
Because like I don't see that when I like see a picture of you, so it's just interesting. I'm curious.
And like my teeth, probably.
Okay,
and then I'd be fine.
I had a dream that I chipped my other. So I have like this little chip that's like no one ever sees.
Don't even see it. It's a thing. I get it. Yeah.
And I think it's like a perfectionist thing because like I know, like I'm aware of the fact that I have good teeth.
Yeah.
So to have like one like little imperfection is like drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But I had a dream last night that I chipped the other tooth.
Oh, girl.
But I forgot about it until
I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like spitting it out and I'm like, shit. Well, now I actually have to get these fixed.
Yeah.
But for me in photos, it's my arms.
Really?
I like get really like bothered by how my arms like the size of them, and especially if I have to be on the end in a group picture, it kind of exaggerates the size. And I know from like certain angles, like, you know, I can see my muscle and I can see the definition and like see the things that I've like worked hard for and that I like about myself. But then certain angles in a photo, like where I get jealous of, like I see a picture of a guy on the end of a photo and like they look like super jacked and like really buff. And I'm like, I don't want to look jacked and buff. I don't want to look wide. And I feel like that's what it like does.
I understand.
And so that is really like a triggering point.
Totally.
And it was also interesting because like, I never thought to be insecure about my arms until someone that I worked with said that they were insecure about their arms. And I'm like, what do you mean?
What
like,
do you mean?
We should be insecure about our arms too?
That's the worst.
You know, I've only ever been insecure about my stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, let's add arms to the mix.
Yeah, no, totally.
And so then it like unlocked this new like, wait, people look at that. And then I started paying attention to people's arms and I'm like, oh, you look really like, you know, fit, or you look really thin or petite or whatever. Like fill in whatever, you know, thing that you want to, that's you've deemed to be desirable. And it's always with the arms. So now I like have this thing about like wanting to get like really lean, defined arms.
Yeah.
But I think it mostly comes from, it's not like, I don't necessarily see myself now like in the mirror or like in general and think like, oh God, like I don't have that. But like in photos, it really activates that. And I had a really hard time like this last few years, on like going on different vacations because there were so many group photos being taken. And it was like, I'm just like so activated by having to be on the end of a group photo.
I'm going to be so for real with you. I don't know what needs to heal, and it's probably just image stuff, but I find group photos to be the cringiest. It makes my skin crawl. I think that they look so, no matter what, I have never seen a group photo where I'm like, that's adorable.
Okay.
That's so cute. Like if someone asked me to take a group photo, I'm like, no.
Can't.
Literally can't do it.
I just like candid so much better. I think I'm really bothered by post.
Yeah. I think that's maybe what it is. Not just group. It's like post
photos. I really don't
They're
like.
so tough. Yeah. Like I need movement. I need like,
I want to capture what we're actually experiencing, not this like thing that we're putting together.
I think that also came with like the huge Instagram shift, right? Like Instagram was all about like aesthetically pleasing pictures and like post pictures and pictures of like, look, proof that we're here. And there's such a huge shift in the 2020s by like Gen Z, to be honest, of like, no, you're just taking things in the moment. Like you're actually capturing, like that's why filters are out and like all of that shit is, it's like, it's truly about like candid, like, no, I'm just taking like pictures with my on like 0.5 and like posting them. And I love that.
No, I think it's taken all that like pressure. Yeah,
Yes.
the pressure often, it's way more real and relatable. And
I like it.
Because it's like, oh, this is actually what a glimpse into your life looks like.
Right, exactly.
Not this highlight reel and stuff.
Although to be so for real, the few times I do post in a year, those pictures are handpicked, selected for a reason.
Oh,
like,
yeah, by the gods.
Like, I am not going to post anything just because, like, my God.
It's very
strategic.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we all know.
Yeah.
We all know. We all know the strategy that goes into a carousel. And the fact that they gave us 20 now.
I love that, though.
I love it.
I love that so much.
It was so funny when they first like released that you could do 20 instead of just 10. Bella sent me this thing. It was like about how astrology accounts can now post every sign in one carousel and not have to do because the first 6 and the last 6 of the zodiac.
Yeah, because mine was always the next slide over because they always start with Aries.
Correct.
So I was always in part 2. That would be posted later.
Yes. And I'm like,
girl,
you can't make me wait.
You can't make me wait.
This is unfair.
Libra curse. Fucking terrible. I'm just kidding. I'm learning to just like the Libra in my life.
No, we love it.
Okay. Okay. What are we? You want to start talking now?
What do you mean?
Like, fuck. What were we just? How long have we been talking and what did we talk about? I think I was disassociated.
I agree. Well, we decided to access some like heavy shit that I don't think we had any intention of.
Here's all my insecurities, internet. Pick them apart.
Sorry about that.
No, it's not. Why did I say any of that? Well, oh my God. It's fine. Fuck
if I ever ask a question, by the way, that is like too, that feels too exposing.
No,
I give your Scorpio stellium the power to say, no, I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, I feel like I would have. I'm like, wow, all right, we're just not giving a fuck today. Let's do it.
We're just getting in it.
We're just getting in it.
Yeah. What we came here to talk about.
Yeah. The goal.
Yeah, well, we have been chatting a lot, like just in our personal life, I think, about kind of just dating.
Yeah.
And because we've both been kind of new to this space.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is like not a smooth transition at all. So sorry for the whiplash, everyone.
Yeah.
But no, but it's just been like such a different experience for us at this point in our lives versus like what dating has been for us in, since, I don't know, when did that start? Middle school?
6th grade was my first boyfriend.
Is when you like, I mean, if you,
count
and that's technically, that is dating. I mean, my first love, I was 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the emotions are there enough.
Yeah.
The heartbreak was intense enough. I'm counting it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Honestly,
it's real. I don't even know that we need to get into semantics. It's real.
It's real.
It was.
Yeah. I think I feel comfortable saying both of us have never dated before.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think, middle school was maybe, sounds crazy.
Sick, brother.
Middle school was the closest experience I had to dating. Is that crazy? That's crazy. I mean, but like, if you think about it, it's like at those times, it's like so we grew up in the era of like MySpace and just like, I don't know, you get people's numbers at like events, AIM,
all that shit.
MSN Messenger. A lot of my friends were on MSN Messenger. But so there was a lot of just like, we were new to the online forums. Everyone was new to having just a cell phone, period. Texting was very new. And like, I just remember, being like at social events and you would just get people's numbers. Do you remember the rejection hotline number?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So for real.
So it's like you could give people that you didn't want to give your number to, you could give them the rejection hotline.
Just so
But then when that started to catch on, people would be like, you'd give them your number and they'd call you right there to make sure
that
they got the right number.
I remember at sleepovers, there's girls that would do that. Yeah. Oh my God, you just unlocked a core memory. I totally forgot about that.
And prank phone calling. You could dial, what is it, *67?
*67. I feel like sometimes that still works. I've heard that depending, that can still work.
We should try it.
I'm so down.
I want to see if it actually
Dude, I think it is. Or was it? Yeah, it was
*69? No, *67.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it 7 or 9? *67. I think it was *67. I think you're right. I also feel like we grew up in a time that like versus, I feel like I have an okay idea of like generations right now just because of my sisters.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have a good look into Gen Z because of my sisters.
Yeah.
And I feel like the difference between, and I could be wrong, but it was like a status thing or like an expectation that you get a boyfriend when we were growing up or like have a partner. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I really can't think of anyone.
Well, and I think all of the movies we watched were all like very rom-com, like, and all the high school stuff, like everyone has a boyfriend. Like that was just, it was very like, that was the messaging.
Absolutely. And it's so fascinating to then watch my sisters because like people get in relationships, but there isn't that expectation. Mm-hmm. Like for me, like, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but it really, everyone had a boyfriend when I was in middle school and high school for the most part. But especially when I first started dating or like liking people, it was like, I did it because I wanted to fit in.
Well, and I wonder, the first thing that I'm thinking of as you're saying this is I wonder if that's because like the societal expectation of just like getting married and having a house and having kids in your 20s is kind of dead.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that in middle school and high school, because so many, like I think it used to be like, oh, we're middle school or high school sweethearts, and then we get married at like 21, have kids at 23, whatever. And it's like this, like such this, I don't know, like this dated timeline where that is obsolete.
Not a thing.
At this point, like it's so much more normal to not even think about having kids till you're in your early and mid 30s. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's almost like this, like the pressure has been taken off of like the high school relationships in a sense.
Yeah, totally. And it's just like, I think that.
Or just the earlier relationships.
Yeah, I think I don't know when it was, but there was that huge shift where like getting married and having kids in your 20s kind of went out the door.
Think our generation.
Thank God. Yeah. I mean, there's still so many people like.
I think we both have a lot of connections to small towns.
We do. But yeah.
And not that I also don't want to say that we have talked about this also in our different episode about wanting and not wanting kids. Like there's no shade to, like I had so much shame around the idea that I did want kids in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I'm glad where I am that I didn't have them, but like, also it's not like a bad thing to want that, but it's just not like there's not such a societal push for that anymore. And that's more what I'm speaking to.
Not
whether
same.
or not you should or shouldn't.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone does with their life. If you had kids in your 20s or whenever or got married at 18, like if it works, do it. I am thankful for the shift. For me, it fits a lot better.
Well, yeah, because if this was like 20 years ago and I was 30 and divorced and single, I think I would be, I don't know. I think that I would feel more external pressure.
Yeah. Or like shame when there's no shame around your journey and what you've been on. And
I don't feel that at all.
That's great. But I think it's just so fascinating because like with dating, it was like for me, I mean, to be so honest with you, I had like self-worth issues for even in my childhood, like even in my like middle school days. And like, I got so much validation the first time a boy openly liked me and asked me to be his girlfriend. I was like, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm likable. And therefore I finally have value. Fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's like a drug when I find out that someone is interested in me or like has a crush on me, thinks that whatever, like it is unmatched, that feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to have that kind of effect or power over me.
I think the way, like it definitely always has an effect on me, but the type of effect it has on me has shifted a lot with age. Mm-hmm. Like and I think it's just from like having a few tough years, but like if I find out that like someone is attracted to me, obviously I'm flattered, but I'm also like, what do you want? Like I'm a lot more cautious. Skeptical. Whereas like when I was younger. Skeptical. Wait, that is a word. Skeptical. Sometimes when I focus on words too hard, they stop sounding like words.
Well, so I think I tried to say skeptical and then.
Susceptible?
No, skeptical.
No, I know. But then did you mix it up with susceptible?
No, I thought you were going to say a different word. And then I tried to my brain just seized and wanted to say what you were going to say.
Valid.
And I don't even know what I thought you were going to say.
I don't know what you thought I was going to say either. But anyway, crazy. I don't know. I felt like I always just, ever since that moment, I always had a boyfriend from 6th grade. And that's it. I've always had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
6th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been like small blips in time where I've been single, but even in that time, I always find someone to like have a fling with or have a thing
or
with.
have a bridge to get me out of the
last relationship. Like it really, I mean, I think if I were in a different, like if my current relationship wasn't so fucking good and everything I've ever wanted, I would be really upset with where I'm at being in another relationship after going through a breakup. If I'm being so honest, like if it wasn't for the individual, I'd be like, really, Kelly? You're going to do the same thing. You get out of a relationship and 2 months later,
right back in a new
you're
one.
on the apps and like we weren't in a relationship, but I started dating after 2 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't either.
I do think it's okay to want to put yourself out there and connect with people. But yeah, I've never like gone on multiple dates. I think there was like a 2-month period in 2021 where I was doing that kind of.
Yeah, I've never like dated someone and then like been intentional about getting in a relationship with them. It's like for whatever reason, the relationships that I've been in have had this sort of like, I don't know, this crazy chemistry at the beginning. Like there's such like a deep connection so fast. And then we're just like, we're not even dating. We're just in a relationship.
Literally same.
Like there's just no...
It's like we go on a date. We both are vocal about liking each other and we're together.
Yeah.
There's no like build up. There's no. And I would say that like where I'm at now in my life, I just really appreciate that build up so much.
Yeah.
The build up.
I'm in such a place where I can appreciate savoring something.
Slow burn.
And where I've learned like the instant gratification isn't actually as satisfying. And there's so much more.
Yeah.
When like, and not for everything, but like in this area, like, having that slow burn, having the anticipation and savoring these times, savoring the dates, like before it is a marriage or before it is a committed partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also,
because there's excitement in that too.
There is excitement. And I think it's like, over the last year, my self-worth has increased so much, or like since I got out of my previous relationship where there was like, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but there was like this unlock in my brain where I was like, you need to pause. Because I'm a romantic at heart. I hate it. I think it's the dumbest shit in the world. But like, I grew up watching 2000s rom-coms. And so anytime I feel a connection with with someone in the past, I've been like, this is the one. This is the one. This is my soulmate. This is like, and I don't question anything. I dive in head first.
I look past all the red flags.
I look past all of the red flags because I'm like, love conquers all.
Yeah.
And in this era in my life, this is just a personal opinion. I do not think love conquers all. I do not think love is enough. I think
that's growth.
I think the easiest part of relationships is falling in love. That's easy. I got that part down. It's the looking for red flags. It's the thinking ahead to the future. It's the, could we be compatible if we don't see eye to eye on this thing? Like, I have been able this season to stop and really contemplate every little part of what is now my relationship. And that I wish I would have gotten earlier.
Well, I think what's really hard too is I saw someone say, we're in a culture where there's so much, like messaging around if you're not, if it's not serving you, then move on.
Yeah.
But I think what we lose in that is the ability to problem solve and have conflict resolution because we don't actually ever have to work through a hard thing with that type of mindset. On the other side of that, though, like, where do you draw the line of what isn't something that is going to be resolved? Where is it just incompatibility? That's where I think I struggle, because it's like I think in relationships I've like, exhausted every option.
Yeah, before I call it. I agree. Yeah.
And so, but I mean, I have called it.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I mean, is there, I think I struggle with the, like, what's worth it? Like, where am I either being like, am I being too critical? Am I being unrealistic? Am I any of those things? Or is it something that's worth just working through?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I think everyone does have a limit, right? Like, I think that, I don't know, like, and I don't have the P.S. I have no answers. Yeah. I just feel like especially in my previous relationship, there were so I'm going off of that. Like that relationship was my biggest teacher of everything I don't want. And there were so many moments where he would do something and I'd be like, I could never live with this. I could never live with this.
Yeah.
I think the feeling of settling is very distinct, and I know
I know that feeling.
Yeah, and I know when I'm over compromising.
Yeah.
I know when I am bending too much, and in every relationship until my current one, I have always done that. Where I'm like, oh yeah, like he doesn't believe in therapy, but it's fine. We can still have kids. No, fuck no. If he's against therapy or isn't willing to go, red flag.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many things now where like for me, like I hear you and I agree. Like I think that like if it doesn't serve you, let it go is like really black and white, which I'm learning is really toxic. But I also think that, and I do agree with that. Sorry about the dramatic bully grunt, by the way. I'm sorry. Am I putting you out, sir? But at the same time, and this is just my point of view, I think I would rather let something go and be on my and be on my own than try to wait it out at this point in my life for me.
Well, because I think I've done so much of the waiting, and I think my lesson is to actually let things go.
Yes.
And I think that's actually more of what that speaks to is like, if your lesson or what the thing is that you have a harder time doing, that's the thing that you have to. So like,
exactly.
If it's not serving you, let it go is actually challenging you, then that's what you need to do.
That's what you need to do. And I just think that I've like grown, like for me with my dating experience, it's hard because I'm happy right now. Yeah. Right. But like, so like I look back at my previous relationships and I'm so bitter. Like there's just so much time and youth and parts of me that I gave up compromising in these relationships that I've been in that I knew early weren't right for me. And that's really frustrating. And that's something I have to work through. It has nothing to do with them at this point because it's over. Yeah. But I just have grown really, like, I don't want to wait for someone to fix themselves. And I think that the place I'm in is fed up to where it's like, if you're not willing to look inward, then we aren't going to work out.
Well, yeah, because that's just a fundamental value system. And I think like if you're for you, you know, and I think I think that's where you can draw a distinct line of compatibility versus incompatibility.
But it's hard too, because like I also do genuinely believe that people are allowed to be flawed and make mistakes, and everyone deserves the opportunity to heal and grow.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, what is that line? Because when I fall in love with someone, I genuinely love them. That's why I have a hard time leaving or ending things past their expiration date is because I'm like, but I love this person. And because I love them, it seems worth it to me to watch and see what they do. What is the timeline?
But on the other side, this is where I'll kind of play devil's advocate. That is where I've struggled, where I see all this potential in someone. And I'm like, well, if you could just XYZ, then you could XYZ. Like, you know, and all I'm doing is giving them a benefit of the doubt without ever having any, I'm living in hope and I'm living in the future. Right. And nothing that I'm wanting of them, I've actually seen evidence of. Right. So that's where, you know, like especially in my marriage, that was the biggest part. I'm like, and what helped is, you know, talking about this with Shauna, my therapist, and she was like, well, to see potential in someone is a beautiful quality.
Yeah, of course. My God, yes.
Oh, thank you for that reframe.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a line where we're like hurting ourselves because, and I remember thinking when I was like kind of getting to the point where I was like, okay, this isn't working in my marriage. And I'm like, I think this is the road that we're heading down, is because there was a lot of moments of recognizing where I was settling. But I remember thinking, it's not fair for me to ask this of him if I've never actually witnessed him do it or exhibit this?
Facts.
Like,
Yeah.
I want him to be able to like emotionally connect with me, or I want him to be able to articulate himself, and I want him to be able to have intellectual conversation, or I want him to, whatever it was that I need in a partner.
For sure.
But he's never been able to do that.
Yeah.
And I have sat here and like, tolerated that, against my better judgment. Because I did get other things out of the relationship.
Sure.
I got, a sense of security, and I had like a feeling of stability and like other things that I needed more importantly at that time.
Yeah.
To be able to even recognize what was important to me in a relationship. So I can see where it served its purpose. But, like if the person you're with has never shown you that they're capable of that, like who am I to sit here and just hope that you'll get there?
Yeah. And just because, and I feel like there were so many traits that I completely agree with you. And I feel like even taking it one step further, like there were so many traits of people I dated in the past that I wanted them to have, and I couldn't understand them not being able to get there because I had those traits.
Yes.
Like the emotional connection. I'm like, I can emotionally connect with a fucking wall.
Yes.
Anything. I could get emotionally connected to this fucking plant right here if I really wanted to. So it's like, and again, it's like it took me not too long. I learned things when I was meant to, but I wish I would have earlier learned that like, it's not scary to break up.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it can be, but, that like, it doesn't mean that you need to sit and wait for them. It just means they don't fit.
Yeah. And I heard someone explain it in this way that has really stuck with me. They're like, okay, if someone, let's say like everybody has like a number that they operate at.
Yeah.
And let's say like 4s are compatible with other 4s and 6s are compatible with 6s. Like if you're someone who's a 6 and you're with a 4, asking them to come be a 6
crazy,
painful for both of you.
Yeah.
They're always going to feel inadequate and you're never going to feel fulfilled.
Yeah. You're going to be disappointed.
And then you see them or witness them be in a relationship with another 4. And you're like, well, why couldn't, like, this person is so happy, so fulfilled being with them. Why couldn't I have that version of them? It's like, well, because you aren't a 4.
Because you aren't a 4.
You're 6.
I love that.
So it's like looking at it in that way, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and that kind of goes back to like, there's someone out there for everyone.
I really do believe that.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
And I believe that there's multiple people that can fulfill that role.
I also fully agree with that. And I think when we're with people that like we like so much, or like we have a lot of compatibility with, for lack of a better word, I think it's painful when it doesn't, work out, or it's like you wanted it to go this certain way, XYZ. But it's also like they are here to like teach you something, to reflect things back to you, and some people like that's their role in your life. Yeah. It's just to reflect things back to you and like be a mirror or be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Like they're just someone, because I think everyone is here to be a teacher for us. Mm-hmm. And I think when we can like look at relationships or dating experiences, like even when it's like short-lived or, like recently, some of the experiences that I've had, it's like there's been like a lot of discomfort in trying to learn how to navigate dating. Yeah. Because in a lot of ways, part of me, like, I don't feel like I want to be in a relationship right now. So it feels kind of silly to be dating people if I'm not like ready to actually be in a relationship. Yeah. Because I think I just want more time to not, I don't know, like, well, I think this is some more shit coming up. I was about to say, I don't want to have to take care of someone right now.
There it is. There it is.
So I need to work through that. Yeah. Because I had someone ask me, it's like, well, have you ended up in relationships where you have to be the mom, or have you like, played a role in that? And I'm like, oh no, I've 100% played a role in it. Yeah. Like when you're saying like the relationship that you're in, like has taught you so many, like that has been your biggest, like taught you everything that you didn't want, or there was something else that you said too. Like one of your patterns.
Everything that I didn't want. Oh God. Who knows?
I can't think of it.
So many words.
I know. I don't remember what it was, but basically it made me think of that feeling where it's just like hold on. Polly's going to have to edit this out. I've kind of lost my train here. No. Okay. So what I think actually, I've got it back. We have to recognize like the part that we're playing in these dynamics. Like if we end up continuing to repeat these dynamics, like that's more of a reflection of us not just like, oh, I have a bad picker. Like there's no good guys out there. Whatever the excuse is. It's like, no, what are you doing to continue to like manifest this type of energy in your life?
There always is a reason. Again, I just think that like accountability is also so important to me. And so it's like, there have been things that have happened in my relationships that are not my fault. And I know that, and I can acknowledge that. But I also think that you play a role in every bad relationship or dating experience you've had, right? Whether that be, I don't know, like you're overly optimistic because you want to be with someone, not you in general, but like overly optimistic because you want to be with someone or you want to get into the next thing or you want that dopamine hit or like you're so excited to be like single again. Like I really, with my current partner, struggled with that hard, like in the beginning, because I knew at the time, it felt like I knew better than to get on like the dating apps. Like I was 2 months fresh out of a breakup. And the first person I talked to and decided to go out with is now my boyfriend.
Well, but I think the energetics of that, to me, that's a clear manifestation come through. Like you got the ping to go on the dating app and you followed it. Yeah. And then you met the person that you were calling in.
Exactly.
And so you can look at it and is like, oh, I shouldn't have been, but it's like, no, you followed this intuitive knowing to follow that and look at where you are. You called in what you were looking for.
I definitely. I didn't know it at the time, but like in hindsight, yes. I just at the time I remember being like, okay, you have this pattern of like getting dopamine hits from male attention and validation and dating, and you've never really had to be alone in your adult life, and there's like all these factors that go into it that it's just I think it is really hard to like know what's right or wrong, but like exactly what you said, I do think a lot of dating is instinctual and like it really is about listening to your gut. Truly. And I know that there are so many times and circumstances where it's like you do just make the wrong call.
Well, and I think that's how we end up in dynamics that aren't good for us, is when we ignore the intuitive hits along the way.
Absolutely.
You can call it a red flag, but it's an intuitive hit.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily there are things that are inherently toxic in a relationship, but like there's things that are just like going to be quote unquote red flags just for you personally that wouldn't be a problem for someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I think in some of the experiences that I've had like recently, I'm like, I saw those and I'm just like, I'll see where this goes. Yeah. But also I am proud of myself that like, you know, a couple times I've been like quick to call it up, like, you know, before. I'm like, this is not it.
This is not it.
Yeah. I've seen what I needed to see. Yeah. This is not something I'm going to tolerate. This is not something I want to engage with. But at the same time, like some of these people that I've interacted with, like have showed me, you know, they've expanded me in a big way where it's like, oh, okay, this is something that I do want. Yeah. I just don't want it to be also with this. You. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this part I'm down with. That is something I want in a partner. This part, not for me. Not so much. So it's like that I think is a huge takeaway. Like if we look at the people that like the prospects, I guess, as like just ways to expand our subconscious to like what is out there and what we like and what we,
but this is why what's possible. I always thought it was so weird. Like I will say this, I have had really good at times advice given to me over dating. I have. Yeah. Advice that I don't agree with is it's too soon to be dating again. Because here's my thing. That if you are someone whose goal it is to find your person, and a lot of people aren't that way, respect, love that. Yeah. I am someone that I'm looking for my person.
Yeah. I want that.
I want
you and I are both like have very heavy Venus influences in our chart, and that makes us naturally inclined to relationship.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, that is our wiring.
And it's not even just romantic, like friendships, family, like relationships.
There's nothing wrong with that. And there's other people who are not wired that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, this is following your wiring.
This is my wiring, is like, I want that so bad. And I think the only way to find that is through dating and even just going to dinner with people. I have no shame now in the fact that I started dating 2 months after going through a breakup of someone that I was engaged to. However, I think that the difference is like slowing down my pace, like going on dates, because that's how you figure out what you like and what you don't like. Yes, but just because you have a connection, for me, does not mean it's love.
Yes. Well, two things.
Yes.
Hold on. They both escaped now. The ADHD is raging today.
I love that for you.
No, it's so bad for the pod. This is bad for the brand.
Bad for the pod.
Bad for the brand. Hold on. Okay. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
One of them. What has been a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around with the apps is there's an like innate expectation that your connection is romantic.
Yeah.
And so, and that's what's hard, because it's like you could have great chemistry with someone that is just meant to be like friendship level in your life. But also, I mean, we talked about, because of my recent experiences, like I'm not looking for any more male friends in my life. I'm good. I don't need someone to just vibe with.
I've got one and done, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, you were just vibing?
No, I got like, I have one guy friend.
Yeah.
And I don't invite no more. I invite no more.
Unless you come at the, like with the attachment of like my friend.
Yeah.
Like if you are the partner of my friend.
Yeah.
Then that's okay. I welcome you.
Or if you're a guy that somehow comes into my life that I'm going to give the time of day to, which is 0%.
Yeah.
And you have a really dope girlfriend, I'm going to prefer your girlfriend over you.
Oh yeah.
Like your girlfriend is going to be my best friend, and you take the back burner, because I'm good. I think I hit my capacity with men in my life, and there's 5.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for new guy friends.
Yeah. I work with like, I work with a lot of guys. Like I get my fix there. Yeah. You know, I don't need to, I don't know.
And I'm not like, I'm like going on the dating apps for like male friendship.
Well, no, that's that's not what I'm saying, to like seek out male friendship. I'm just saying like there's an expectation that your encounter is going to be romantic, and you're not going to feel romantic with everybody necessarily.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of, and I guess I'm someone who, my history or my past has been like, oh, I get to like kind of feel them out first, like in a friendship kind of, or in a group setting.
Yeah.
Before like romantic feelings start.
Yeah.
So
it's weird too, like being on the apps, because it's like, there is this weird pressure that I always overthink the few times I've been on the apps. I think the longest I've lasted is a month. Yeah. And it's like, you go on these dates and you have to act casual, and like, it's not a thing deal, but like I have no chill. I'm like, oh my God, I could maybe sleep with this person. I could maybe fall in love with this person. We're like on this date because we're both looking, like the first time I went out with my current partner. Yeah. I remember we went out on a date for the first time. We were at drinks, and I was sitting there looking at him, and I was like, it's so weird that we're being so casual and not talking about the fact that we both are looking for our person, and we could potentially be each other's people if this goes well. And I would spiral about it, but then I'd have to play it cool.
It's like you're getting so existential, but it is. It's like the playing it cool. Weird. I'm done playing it cool.
I know, we can't.
That's something that I think
don't play it cool.
No, the kind of way we grew up with dating. Oh my God, I keep hitting the mic, you guys. I'm so sorry. The way we grew up with dating, it was all about like the games and like the don't text for 3 days and like all these arbitrary rules.
I can't text him first. I'm the girl.
Yeah. Like just this, I mean, sorry, but bullshit and mind games and toxic behavior. Yeah. And I think that's what's cool about being, I don't know if it's this age or just that culture has shifted. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit of both.
I think it's both.
But I think that there's like this acknowledgement, or I think it's drama to call it a movement. Yeah. But I think people being like, no, if I like you, I'm going to text you back right away. If I want to see you, I'm going to ask to see you. Like, I'm just like this kind of permission to just be forward and be honest.
Yeah. I think that's where I actually get really tempted to be black and white thinking about dating. And I know that's not good, but it's like, I've said that to you so many times where it's like, after this relationship, whatever happens, I'm never playing the game again. I'm never going to be coy. I'm never going to play it cool. I feel like...
Well, I don't even think you did that with this. Did you?
No, but I'm saying like, because I didn't do it with this one, there's no going back for me.
Yeah.
Like, I do think there's something that I have to fight every day where I'm like, maybe we should be that picky, where it's like,
Oh, 100%.
You're not texting me back, or you're like you're by not responding, making me start to doubt myself. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that kind of energy or that dynamic.
Totally. Like, Justin has been like, since the day we started talking, responds to me every time within 10 minutes. He never leaves me on red. And it has been so healing for me because of the games. Every other guy I've dated, it's like, I don't want to text back too fast because I don't want them to think I'm needy. Or like, they didn't text me back. What did I do wrong? And then I spiral. Like, no one deserves that. If someone likes you, they should be making it perfectly fucking obvious. You should be able to be responsive. You shouldn't have to be overthinking like, oh, am I being cool enough? Is this chill? Should I wait? Should I hold out on him? Well,
you know what's interesting is like, so I had these kind of like two different experiences, and like one of them, I feel like we had already known each other, so it wasn't like there wasn't this newness or like getting to know each other. It was different to like engage like in a more romantic way than as friends, but I felt like I was like, it was very easy for me to just like show up as myself because they have seen like all versions of me, like in with our history and stuff. So it's like, so that was like, oh, I can go into this feeling like I have nothing to prove. They know exactly who I am and what they're getting into, and they like me for that reason. So that was really made me feel very secure. But like, it's still just like, I don't know. It didn't like pan out, which is also
fine.
Totally fine. But then I had this, and when it didn't like work out, or like we kind of both just like ghosted each other, which is fine. I don't know. Like there wasn't anything that I guess needed to be said really, at least on my end. And I don't know about for him, but I didn't feel, like I didn't do the reeling or the overthinking or the like, what did I do wrong? Where did it like go wrong? Whatever. Because I felt really good about how I showed up, because I knew that I like acted
like yourself.
I had integrity and I was myself. Like there was nothing like performative. I wasn't playing games. I wasn't like hindering or holding back or anything like that. Then I have this other situation where like, I don't know, the dynamic shifted, things like shifted, whatever. And I did feel kind of like icky, or like I was in this kind of like place of like spiraling or whatever, because I wasn't acting like authentic to me. Like there was moments where it's like, I wanted to ask like a deep question because I'm a deep and intimate person, and like I can be really intense. And I was trying to like stifle that intensity by not taking the conversation there. And then it just like, it felt gross after. So then I would have I had these feelings that I had to work through. And, you know, I kind of learned about myself. It's like, okay, I am an intense person. When I don't like go with it or channel that, it's going to come out in a different way. That intensity is going to come out in a different way that is kind of ugly. That I don't like. It comes out in obsessive thinking. It comes out in like kind of compulsive, like it brings out that side of me. When I don't like allow it to just like its natural like channel. So that was kind of like a big lesson for me of like, okay, like I can be secure in myself. I can engage with people. And just be me. Right. And whether I'm for them or not.
And I think what's really important about that is like taking a moment and recognizing like whoever you date next, whenever that is. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting that if you checked in with yourself, like, am I being authentic or am I holding back? If I'm holding back, why? What about this person isn't making me feel safe to show up completely as myself? And that's when you can really start to like look for flags or listen to the gut things. Like, and I think that with dating is something I've really learned is like, there's a huge, cause, you know, we're talking about how it's like such a hard line between like whatever you're asking from the person, like, is it fair or not? I think that's what I really want to try to do from now on is like, am I trying to change the person? Am I asking for something that's like really particular that it's like, I can't expect that of them. This isn't fair of me. Like, I'm trying to change them. They're not the right person. Or is it like, I'm asking for basic rights in a relationship?
Yeah, I'm asking
baseline shit.
Well, I love the trend of the girl trying to like tell her best friend about like something exciting, like dating wise. And she's like, the friend just keeps every response is bare minimum. Yeah, bare minimum. Yes. She's rolling her eyes. Yeah. Okay, bare minimum. Yeah. And then she's like, no, he held the door, like bare minimum. Bare minimum. He brought me flat, bare minimum.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
And I love that because it's like a check-in with like, is he, I think it's a testament to what you've tolerated.
Yeah.
That you're like, no, it's okay. I want this in a relationship. It's okay for me to ask for it.
Totally.
Or, like hold out until someone shows up who can do that.
When you were talking about your ex-husband.
Yeah.
And you were like, I would ask him to emotionally connect. Bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
You should be emotionally connected with the person you're with. Period.
But also, I mean, to take accountability, like that's something that I should have considered.
Totally.
Before committing in that way.
Totally.
And that's a big, was a big lesson for me. There was a lot of like feelings of so many times I vividly, viscerally remember the feeling of like, wow, I mean, am I really going to have to like deal with this for the rest of my life?
That's what I'm
sacrifice this for the rest of my life?
That's your
like,
gut, dude.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where it's like, no, this just isn't your person. That's okay.
Yeah.
This was a great relationship for what it was, for when it was, for what you needed it to be. Mm-hmm. But it's not the one that you want to stay with. It got you to a place where you could then like ask for the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's crazy.
And I didn't know better than to like not just commit.
Yeah. And I do like.
I did.
Yeah.
There was also some people pleasing in there.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of people pleasing
and I think, there's also like the pressure of like, I don't know, like I just, again, for me, it's like, I want to know that there's someone out there who is my person so bad.
Yeah.
That it's like for me, like with all of my long-term relationships, which all my relationships have been long-term, let's be so for real. But like, I felt like, oh my God, it's so close to being my person. Maybe this is just it. I don't think you know until you know. It's like the song Margaret by Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
When you know, you know.
Yes.
You know? Mm-hmm. And I think that it is like, but when I was younger, it's like, well, almost everything is perfect.
Well, and you hear so much of like the marriage is work, a relationship is work, nothing comes easy. Like you have to deal with people's flaws. Like, there's so much messaging that I think for a brain like mine makes it really easy to justify someone's behavior. I was
just going to say that.
I end up just settling.
I feel like people like marriage is tough work and you have to deal with the problems. Like I feel like that has been people have twisted that so much to where it's like people tolerate way too much now.
Oh yeah. There's something that's different where you're like showing up and choosing the other person and being intentional and like taking accountability for your shit and offering forgiveness to the other person when they need it. But there's a difference between that and just tolerating
behavior that never changes.
Correct.
That's a pattern.
And it goes back to they're a 4 and you're a 6.
Yeah.
Like if it's not something that they're going to offer to you, stop asking for it. Go find someone who wants to show love to you in that way.
Yeah. Or that like, I just don't know. Like I hear, like when I hear the thing about like, I'm so glad you brought it up, like relationships or marriage is work, like it's work, whatever. Like I've never been married. I really don't feel like I have space to like talk.
But you've been in long-term committed relationships. You've lived with your partners. Like,
right.
And honestly, for me, like there's nothing different besides the paperwork and the ceremony.
And the like legality of it all.
Like there wasn't anything different about like me living with my most recent partner and separating versus living with my husband and separating.
Yeah, for sure.
And my therapist even called that out. She's like, I mean, this is essentially another divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. And it's not like it's like marriage equals more feelings or anything like that. I'm like really
it's not
sensitive.
Less serious.
Yeah. I just don't. I always like, I don't like to speak about things like I'm an expert, especially when I've never experienced it. But I will say that like, for me, like I want marriage being work like, yeah, you're getting on my nerves like every other person on the planet does. And I'm going to be more forgiving of you because we are married. I'm going to be annoyed by your idiosyncrasies. I'm not going to be worried about your mental health or like the way we fight. I don't want to have to do that in a marriage. Like those things should be established that you can take care of yourself and your health before we commit to getting married.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, it's like marriage is work, yeah, because you're like married to the same person and you have to like grow together. I think that takes serious work, but it shouldn't be work like, oh, this person is fucking abusing you, but marriage is work. Like, that's where I'm like, how did we lose the plot so hard? I don't think that's what that saying means.
I think people who are in maybe relationships that are not compatible have taken the advice of people who are in solid relationships who are offering their perspective.
Yeah.
And kind of like taking their, them speaking to like the challenges of their relationship and then making it fit as a justification for staying in a relationship that they shouldn't be in.
100%. Yeah. I think that they mold that advice to fit their narrative a little bit. And, and that's
Thank you for saying that so much more concisely.
No.
I took the long way around.
No. I was literally, as I said that, I was like, I hope that's what she was saying.
It is. It's exactly what I was saying. Well, another thing too, like something that you said earlier, like this is too soon or like whatever. But then, then you also spoke to, it's also the whole fucking point.
It's the whole point.
And my aunt and I were talking about that because I had said something about, I think like someone that I was kind of like was talking to, like they were fresh out of a relationship. I was fresh out of a relationship. And she's like, yeah, but like, are you damaged? Are you like, are you whatever, like that relationship ended because it wasn't supposed to be. And it's so you could go find something else.
Yep.
And if you like this person, if there's like, there's chemistry there and they're like fulfilling things in you, like, then you owe it to yourself to explore that, not to like deny it because of some arbitrary timeline
that nobody can give you.
That no one can give you.
Actually isn't a set number.
One. Yeah, because every circumstance is so unique and different.
Right. And I think that it's more like the key is it's not about a timeline of like, oh, has there been enough time? This is just for me. I feel like things have gone well for me with dating in this era of my life because I did spend 28 through 9 figuring out who the fuck I was.
Mm-hmm.
I spent all of my 20s absorbing, like there's little parts of me that have always been the same my whole life that are just like who I am. But like absorbing the social groups around me or absorbing people I encounter that I genuinely like and trying to take on parts of their traits because that's who I wanted to be. And it wasn't until I started spending time alone and really getting to know myself because that's what allowed me to show up authentically. I don't know that you can, I don't know who it was that said this, but it's like, how can you find your person if you don't know yourself? How can someone else love you and be your person if you can't even love yourself or know, this isn't profound.
Or see your own value.
Or just know yourself enough to know what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
People can pick up on the bullshit when someone's not showing up authentic instantly.
Yeah.
Every single person.
That's actually, it's interesting that you said that specifically because I've been kind of like thinking about that a lot. It's like, what do I bring to the table?
Yeah.
If
It's so
I'm
important
like,
to know.
if I want a partner that shows up for me in these ways, like, what am I offering back? Because I was talking to someone and I was like, like I want someone who like opens my door for me and like, like I
You
want
love the chivalry. Yeah.
I love that. It makes me feel like that feels like love to me.
Yeah.
And like my love language, like how I feel love is acts of service. And it kind of that like falls into that.
Got it.
That kind of like respect or like to me, chivalry is like respecting a woman. That's how it translates to me. Like that's how it makes me feel. And I had started to like speak to that and I was like, and I show up. And then I just kind of like fumbled and I was like, in other ways, but I'm like, so I kind of glazed over it, but I'm like, how do I show up? If I expect this from my partner, what am I bringing to the table?
Amen.
And then I struggle with like, okay, when you're starting to date someone and you're like, or starting to like engage in a relationship with someone, it's hard for me to not like, I have to unlearn how to just like be a wife.
Yeah.
And I think that's why my most recent relationship felt so much like another divorce because I went from a marriage to basically just engaging in a new relationship as if it was another marriage.
Another marriage, yeah.
Which I don't think that there's anything wrong with like committing to someone at that level, but like it also, I was operating in the same way because I hadn't actually like healed the things that were problematic, where I was showing up in a problematic way, like showing up as like this like mother role and like, you know, anyway, so I have had to kind of sit with that, and I don't have an answer or direction yet. I haven't really like fully unpacked it, but I'm like aware of like, okay, if I'm not going to show up in this like wife role, but like, what do I offer in this dating interim?
And you don't know.
I don't know yet. Like, I think I can offer like maybe like emotional connection, but it's like, I don't know. I'm struggling with like, if I'm expecting someone to show up and like be chivalrous, like how do I respond to that? What do I counter with?
I wonder if it could be like all the things that you're trying to heal in therapy, or the ways that you need to show up in a relationship. Like you've been working so hard on like healing, like playing is so important to you. And maybe like once that is healed, that is something that you're meant to bring into partnership, is playfulness.
Whoa, that is so interesting. Because I also was just reading something about like, it was speaking directly to that. Like, I really don't even have anything else to add, but it was like speaking so much to like, well, it was someone who was like sharing their experience of like, it's, you know, similar thing. It's like, I'm not meant to like show up in this relationship as your mom. Yeah. And like, I need to be able to feel safe enough to play.
Yep.
And
exactly.
like, that's what I'm bringing. Like not to be your mother, but to be like your silly,
so that you
playful
can play,
partner.
because that's who you feel like you are authentically. And I'm just thinking out loud, right? Wow. Like things are just happening in my brain as I'm speaking. So
but that's a huge unlock for me. Thank you.
And I just am wondering, like, because you asked that question, and that is like, even though I'm the one that said it, like, yeah, like what do I bring to the table as a partner? Yeah. Like, or like, what is it that how do I want to show up in a relationship? And it's like, yeah, like I don't know. I wonder if it's like, yeah, the things that I want, like I want to bring like I want to ground the relationship. Right. And then I was like thinking as I was talking to you and as you were talking, and I was like, yeah, like things that I'm healing in therapy right now are like, I'm actively grounding myself. Like I'm actively learning how to ground myself, or like, I want to show up confident. And it's like, I started going to therapy and like, and healing my mental health. And like, I've never felt so confident in so many newer ways in my life. And, you know, I want to heal my eating disorder because I fucking love food, and I bond over food, and I connect over food. And like, so I don't know, maybe it's like we go to therapy so that we can show up authentically. And when we start doing that, that's when the right person finds us, because we're finally stepping into who we are.
Yeah. Because if I can't show up secure in who I am and like have a firm grasp on what I bring to you, how can I demand these things that you bring to me?
Like, you need to know who you are, and you need to do all these things that I want, but I'm still figuring it out. Like, that's not partnership.
No, that's crazy.
Not balanced.
No,
right?
Exactly. And like, it's like, to me, it like plays into my tendencies of being like hypercritical, of being, like I like stepping, like seeing where someone has room for improvement, and like then being their coach and means to get there.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know, doing the finger shaking.
Right.
How has that served me?
Yeah.
You know, and how has that served the other person I mean, to me, all that does is make them feel unworthy, not enough.
Well, what's interesting is that I feel like this is like a, philosophical question, like a very general. I'm not like, you don't have to have the answers, but it's like, it makes me wonder too, like why, like for me, like now I'm kind of like, well, I want to do that with all of my friendships. Like I'm thinking about like our relationships, like our relationship. What do I bring to this relationship? What do you bring to this relationship? My relationship with my mom, my sisters. Like, I don't think it's just applicable to romantic relationships. Like, how can you expect someone to love the whole you and the complete you and see you for who you are if you don't even know who you are?
Yeah.
It's literally impossible. You're setting yourself up to fail.
Well, I think that was my entire marriage was that.
Yeah.
I had no idea who I was, and I hated myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
I feel you.
But I think because that relationship didn't really require any of my like emotional capacity, I could really just focus on myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And then figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's also what like allowed me the space to realize like that wasn't it.
That wasn't it. Yep. And that's the thing that's cool too, is that when you are still, I mean, it's like you don't want to be this self-absorbed person, but I'm going to speak for myself, but maybe you can understand. Like, I think I've gotten into relationships in the past or dated in the past. And like, I put my all into just the relationship and all of this. I've never worked on myself in my life. I have never reflected inward. I can always say sorry, but I don't think I've ever been able to truly take accountability until the last couple years.
It's almost like the sorries have been like a people pleasing. Like you don't want someone to be upset with you or have their feelings hurt. So you do it to like make them feel better.
And that's not doing anyone any good.
Because it's like, what if what if they aren't owed an apology?
Right.
But also, if it's a sorry without accountability, then it's empty.
Exactly.
And like I've had so many like encounters with that where it makes sorry feel
don't tell
empty,
me you're sorry. Yeah,
you know?
I don't want to hear
it. I hate it.
I just was saying this to my mom, like,
show me. And
change behavior.
Yes. Well, yes. But it's also like created this compulsion in me where I think I've been able to let it go a little bit. But for a lot of years, I was so triggered by people saying like empty sorries that it made me, I mean, this sounds terrible, but I'm just going to be honest. Like, I couldn't apologize to people. I had this like, I mean, for lack of a better word, mantra, but like this obsessive thought of like, don't say sorry, just fix it.
Yeah. Because
I was like, well, if I can show them sorry, that to me is apologizing. But like, I think for some people hearing sorry is very important and it goes a long way.
Sure.
But it was like this compulsive, like, don't say sorry, just fix it.
Yeah.
And then I like would go so above and beyond to try to like show them and like change my behavior, which I think is part of it. But I think both are
I think both is necessary.
Because I think it's important to also like admit and speak to the accountability.
Yes.
That goes so far with me.
Yeah. Like say you're sorry and then own up to it, or just be like, like, it just means so much to me when people can just be vulnerable for a minute and be like, holy shit, what I just said was so
crazy
hurtful.
Yeah.
What, like, you don't even have to say you're sorry.
Just take the accountability. That is the apology.
I don't even want you to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't need you to fix it. I need you to just recognize it and never do it again. The end.
I mean, but that is fixing it.
I guess that's true. Yeah. But like,
I guess that's how I
guess I've like had like taken accountability before and then like felt the need to prove myself after, and don't do that with me. Like I don't need anyone to prove
I think that also comes
anything.
from like a people pleasing and like perfectionistic
kind
of place.
I like feel so terrible when I do hurt people. But I think like when I like to loop back to romantic relationships, it's like, I am convinced that it doesn't happen or come until you have truly found who you are and accepted yourself. I think everyone spends their whole life trying to like, you're always changing and growing, right? But I think that until you accept or people accept themselves at their core, it's just like, how can you expect anyone else to love you?
You just said exactly what I was wanting to speak to is like, I think it ties back into what we had, where we started this conversation that felt disconnected, but really is not. Like it's that self-love concept.
Yeah.
Because
it's so important.
I mean, and you already said this, but there's just no way to me that you can actually find your person without finding yourself, like uncovering it, just rediscovering. Like, and I hate the term like finding yourself, but it's like a unlearning of all these other people and personalities that we've tried on. Because I really took on other people's personalities because I didn't like mine. Yeah. Or I was made to feel like mine was stupid or too much. Yeah. That was a big one. Like I felt like way, way, way too much. So then I like squashed it and I didn't want to be this intense person. So I tried to be the chill girl and that's not authentic. And then I never, for a long time, like I couldn't find friendships or partnerships that were actually aligned.
And I'm starting to wonder now if like we're onto something here. Not that we are the originators of the idea of liking yourself before you let other people like you, by the way. But I have like thought before, like the whole concept, like the song, The Prophecy, right? Where it's like, why do other people get it and not me? Like change the prophecy. And it's like, well, maybe it's that people that find love earlier in life, like I'm thinking about Cody and Taylor, they're soulmates, right? Like, and they've been together for, I think Cody just told me this is 14 or 15 years.
Wow.
Right? Like half their lives.
Yeah.
They are two of the most authentic people I know. Like they know themselves, flaws and all. They have always been the same. They don't change. They don't try. And like, it's not to say that the people that like it takes longer. I'm speaking for myself. It's taken me a long time to accept who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to do it.
Yeah, I think it's the acceptance of yourself too.
Totally. Like maybe it's just that people that find, like maybe it's luck, but I maybe it's not the prophecy. Maybe it's just people like loved themselves a little earlier, so they got to find it sooner.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
that's okay.
And that's totally dope. And it's okay
cool
for
them. I'm happy for them. Yeah.
But it's like, but that's not to speak to like people like you and I who are like 30 and like not married and like all of that shit. Like it's not about like, I mean, we all know it's not a race, but it hasn't been our time.
Right. And I think I spent a lot of time, and I mean, not without, like, I got a lot, I learned a lot from it. So I find a lot of value in it now, but I spent so much of my time wanting to be liked by everybody.
Same.
And then it's like, stop trying to be liked by everyone. You don't even like everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even like everybody.
Totally.
Like, that's crazy. Why would you want to, like, that's unreasonable.
I just saw a video of Pedro Pascal. He was like, I mean, I can get along with anybody. I can be nice to anybody, but I don't like everybody. And that's so true.
That's so good.
My God, I love that. Like, you can respect people and not have to like everyone. So not everyone's going to like you.
That's such a good way to put it, because I feel like that's the place I in the last few years have finally gotten to experience.
Yeah.
Because I used to think like, oh my gosh, like they trigger me, they bother me so much, like ugh, I can't stand being around them. But like, I'm sorry, we're all adults and like we have to work together. We have to like, I work in a department with like 100 people. Like you're not going to like everybody.
No.
But we all have to figure out how to work together. Yeah. And like I might spend 12 hours sitting right next to you and wiping ass with you. So I'm going to have to figure out how to like get along with you.
Yeah. Respect and spending intimate time with people and having relationships with people is very different.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think, you know, I've talked a lot too. I mean, before we wrap this up, I've talked a lot about how like astrology really helped me with that.
Yeah.
Is like learning people's charts and like learning where they're coming from rather than being like pissed off by them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you are, you know, this, like you have this kind of makeup, like this is the energy that's working within you. I get why that's important to you.
Yeah.
It's not how I'm wired. It's not that, like, that's not my focus, but I get it. And I can respect you for it. And I can like not want to like change that, or it has allowed me to not be affected.
Yeah.
And now like I just kind of have been able to like apply that like with just people in general. Like, okay, I don't know what your birth chart is, but I can like just apply that. Like, okay, like I don't have to want that or operate that way, but I can respect you for and get along with you. I can be nice with you. I can work with you. I can wipe ass with you.
And I'm not gonna give you the power to like actually upset me because of something that I just don't agree with.
Right.
Like, or like doesn't align with me.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's good.
Yeah, totally. Relationships are wild, dude.
But no, I love that like that tie that we made. Like I think this is, I mean, really, I feel like this combo is more like, yes, self-love.
It is really, it's self-love, self-acceptance, self-awareness. Self-awareness is huge.
Because where you haven't had that like acceptance of self in a dating dynamic, it's going to be reflected back to you. That person's going to be a mirror.
100%. And also just, oh shit, what was I going to say? No, I think you're right. I think that's all I have to say about it, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So weird.
Cute. Well, Illy. Where can everyone find us?
You can find us at Let's Get Taboo on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube,
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
And that's all the main ones.
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
All we got so far. That's all we can maintain.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. All
okay.
right.
On that note, love you guys. Thanks for listening. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bully, stop licking.
No more licking, you crazy head.
It was driving me fucking nuts. Bully, stop licking. Oh, don't look at me like that, you little sassy.